I go back and forth on the type of street photography videos I enjoy the most. Sometimes I like the walk and talk. You describe what you're seeing and why you shoot it, or just the POV style with a camera strapped to your chest and you look around and you see something and shoot it and you work it into the video. I like those. I like that guy Faisal Westcott. I think he now does films effectively about himself as a street photographer. I don't have anybody to take video of me while I'm out there shooting, so I'll let him have that. I like that. I watched that pretentious British bastard who sits on a big stuffed couch and talks about how bad everybody else's street photography is. I dig him. And who am I to talk about other people's street photography when mine sucks so bad? But I kind of get into let me tell you why I shot what I shot. And this is called Why I Snapped. So let me walk you through my day, which started out with a photo walk with a bunch of photographers, which I had to abandon because it just made me feel weird. And I'll do a video about that. I'll do a short about the photo walk with people you've never met before, not with friends, not with part of a community you hang out with, but strangers. And makes you think to yourself, am I this weird? So here's why I snapped what I snapped. I started with a catwalk, a pedestrian bridge, and you're going to find out that the pedestrian bridge is my muse in some way, shape, or form. I shoot a lot of walkways, and there's some light behind that. You're going to see the geometry, shapes, framing is all part of my deal when it comes to street photography. So I think I may have caught a criminal. I like this guy right here. I think he's some sort of fugitive. He kind of looked like he was running from the law, but nonetheless, he's a good subject for street photography. Pan a little bit to the right there, and just those blocks and those shapes and those lines, and a couple of people walking down there. This fella kind of going up the other direction. The next, this is a big fail here. I saw the framing of the concrete structure that is the parking garage, and I thought I could do like frame in frame, or I could grab a picture of somebody in their car, stick, out the window a little bit, and that whole framing thing. And it just didn't really work. I gave it my best shot, but these pictures are just horrible. But I did notice to my right, I panned to the right a little bit, and there was this big splash of color on the wall. And I was standing in front of the most historic graveyard in this town that I live in. And when I shot through that, I noticed this guy walking down the street with a red hood on, and I thought, well, kind of like a Grim Reaper-ish kind of look. You can kind of make out the shapes of the grave markers there in the foreground. I thought that was kind of interesting. Moved down the street a little bit. This was just beige. I like the fact that he was wearing a white T-shirt and had a beige pants on, and there's those white bricks there, and the beige background, and the beige on the walls, and the sidewalk, and the whole thing. So it kind of all worked together as an aesthetic. Yeah, I love the word aesthetic, like your Instagram aesthetic. Okay. Just past him was her. And I noticed that her hair color and whatever was growing inside that bush, maybe they were old dead flowers or something like that, kind of worked together. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I grabbed that. She was playing peekaboo with me. She decided, I don't want my picture taken, but she's in public. I don't give a damn. I like framing, like I said, framing and color pops. This guy in the green and the yellow, with the yellow in the background and the yellow fire hydrant. They're not all the same yellows, but still the green and the yellow, they work together pretty well. This was a weird old toll booth that was still in operation and somebody in there. I like the tone, the cast of the light, which started out really bleak, by the way. The day started out bleak and then got more shiny and more light as I went on. So you'll see those pictures improve with the light falling down through the sky. This was a guy standing at a bus stop, and I had to say I noticed all the signs first, and then there he was, and then the blue on the back of the bus and that red in his jacket, kind of complementary colors. I don't know shit all about complementary colors, but they seem to work together. What kind of street photographer would I be if I didn't take advantage of somebody walking through a door frame? I did like that there was some action there as she was pulling out a cigarette, getting ready to light that, but seemed pretty basic in terms of composition, but I shot it. I like the lighting on that. Like I said earlier, you'll find that pedestrian bridges, crosswalk kind of things, catwalks are my muse. I like the blue in the sky and the blue reflecting off of the hotel windows there, and the blue in his shirt all work together. And the second shot here, you'll notice that it's late, because I was shooting with a Fujifilm film simulation, and one of the settings I had was clarity. Now, if you're trying to shoot fast and you've got clarity at all in a film sim, you're going to find that it slows down your camera to the point where you can't shoot fast. So I think I missed with this guy, but in that previous one, I like the blue all working together, but I would have liked him a little bit further to the right in that one. Just a moment here with different colors and a couple either trying to figure out how to pay or what the hell this whole bird scooter thing is all about. This guy was just standing with the orange and the blue and all the background colors and light, right? The intersection of color and light is why we shoot what we shoot. So I just found that to be enough color to grab my attention and hopefully yours as well. This is a bit of a lucky shot here. It's not great, but just the different patterns. There was an event going on, and that was a sequiny jacket with the light coming off of it. Her patterns there on the jacket kind of grabbed my attention. The light from the side, illuminating hair, and then old Buffalo Check girl back there popped through the frame right as I was composing. So I guess the contrast, if you will, of all the different patterns is what drew me to that. Like we said, it's all about moments. There's a mom looking at her son and her mother, getting a picture taken by, I would assume, their husband. With the light starting to really shine through, I was inside looking through the glass of the escalator there, bending down a little bit. So that kind of made a nice green cast on that photo. Again, shadows and light, very pretty face, illuminated really well. But those shapes in the background, I don't know if you want to call those leading lines, but they certainly helped out my thoughts on the composition of that photo. This was just a bunch of white. As a matter of fact, I've zoomed in a little bit here. There was another woman in white to my right, which I caught, but just like a third of her. So I kind of cropped it down a little bit. I know some of you are against cropping, but you can fuck off. And her pants, to be quite honest with you, it just looked like a spandex bag full of knuckle sandwiches. So I couldn't help myself. I had to shoot that one. This is probably my favorite photo of the day. Not that I was waiting for a guy to walk in looking like James Bond from North Africa and a phone in his hand and the light just across his face perfectly, but here we are. And the other guy looking at him, so it really probably jumped out as my favorite photo of the day. I could have lifted the shadows a little bit, but I did like the fact that you could still make out what's going on, but the eyes have it in this one, and I really, really like this one. Same kind of thing, I was in the same location, light across this woman's face. She looked a little perplexed. She was digging for a cigarette. I like the background contrast in terms of people looking away. Christopher Walken was in town. This isn't him, and I don't think he was in town, but I did like the light reflection off the top there. I liked how the pedestrian bridge and the building kind of pointed down to the subject, which seems to me to be perfectly lit. He looks like he's squinting, and he looks like Christopher Walken. And I'm zooming in myself, and no, that's not Christopher Walken. Okay. This one, completely just sitting there waiting for someone to work into that crosswalk. And in comes a bicyclist wearing the same color shirt as the background back there. And I like this intersection a lot. I'll show you something else here in just a second from that same intersection. But, good enough. It was a sharp image. I thought it was pretty cool, so I captured that. Again, same intersection, which I just like the structure of the building, the lights and the shadows and stuff like that. Still playing with this intersection. A little later on, the light was just truly illuminating only the crosswalk there. And these two people in that color shirt just seemed perfect for me, and so I grabbed that, and as I waited a few seconds longer for my camera to buffer with the clarity setting set, I noticed that the back of her hair and the shirt kind of worked together. This intersection has been good to me in the past. From the other, actually where they're standing, I shot through this intersection the other direction. This is on my Instagram, and one of my favorite shots of all time, the way the crosswalk and the subject matter and the light on her face and the stairs in the background all kind of work together to make a good image. That's one of my favorite street photos I've ever taken. I have to admit, I kind of stalked this woman a little bit here. Her orange hair did it for me, and then the orange brick in the background and the structure of the window frame there and the newspaper machine there looked all like it's got to work together. I could have lifted her face in the shadows a little bit, but I didn't. I kept following her. Again, that hair, that structure of the orange doorway there. And then this, I took it a little too far. I was looking to hopefully get her orange hair against that detour sign. Probably would have been the best match of the day, but she never came out of that shadow, and so I never caught that. So, complete fail there. This guy vaping against the back lit sun there. I like the splash of light against the brick wall back there, kind of illuminated him a little bit more and highlighted the vape smoke coming off his head. These became my muse a little bit. These two skaters here, their dog was cute. The light was really kind of shining almost at a 90-degree angle, and so I grabbed a couple of pictures of these skaters. My favorite one is this one where they're kind of in tandem, both skating in the same stance, kind of moving towards me a little bit, and I like that shot a lot. And I like silhouettes of color. I'm not a big black and white silhouette kind of guy. So you have the splash of the golden hour there, and there's two girls obviously taking a selfie. That just seemed to pop out at me. I've zoomed in a little bit. There was a little bit more light play on the bricks to my left there, to there, right where they were behind, which would have been nice in the photo, but I did zoom in for subject matter. Another play with color here, that color on the wall and the color of his vest and the lights and the whole thing kind of worked together for me as a sanitation worker. That light on that glass back there just spoke to me. These girls walked in. I like how they're a bit haloed. Expressions are kind of cool on that picture. And this dude, I wish I could have done more with him. He walked around in weird circles, and this was the best of the bunch that I shot of him. He looked like he was smoking there too. I probably could have done better of getting him against that whiter background, but the play of the lights and the colors back there spoke to me, and so I shot him as best I could. That's probably the best of the day, but not great. So that's why I snapped what I snapped, and I thank you for watching. Based on my click-through rate and the amount of time you guys are watching the video, no one's here. So thanks anyway if you made it this far.